Kind of as I said before, my idea with this first presentation is kind of, I want to talk a little bit about what development means, what the role of the DI is there, some of the challenges you might face, talking about kind of like the framework that we're going into, because, well, at least for me, being from the US, going to Africa, it was a completely different framework. Not just like the living style, but the way people think, the way people, everything was just completely different. So I kind of want to talk about some of the reasons behind why I see that framework being different and how that presented some of the challenges, why that was challenging when I was there as a DI and trying to do different development work. So today is kind of going to be much more of a discussion, and I kind of want to start it off by talking a little bit about how society is structured, how modern day society is structured, and kind of how we've gotten to where we've gotten to in the world. And so I basically have some real basic questions, and then from those, the simpler questions, we'll get into more complicated questions, and we'll go from there. So basically, my first question is, if we look at the world, are there more rich people or poor people? Alright, it's a pretty simple question. Don't feel embarrassed to spit the answers out. And are there more? So we basically have different classes in society. We have really rich people, and we have really poor people, and then there's something in the middle. Would everyone agree with that? Okay. If all these people are in the world, then the majority are going to be poor people. So let's put the majority of the people. Ooh, it's a nice marker. We'll put the majority of the people down here at the bottom. And then as you move up in the classes, there's fewer and fewer people. So basically, we have kind of like a hierarchy in society, where the majority of the people, well, before we get to that part, we'll put the money up there. So then we have the money here. So the majority of the money is going to be up at the top here. Well, not the majority of the money, but the richest people are going to be at the top, the poorest people are going to be at the bottom. And I mean, that seems like an obvious thing, but kind of, at least for me, coming from here and going to Africa, like, yeah, I knew that obviously there's going to be a lot more rich people than poor people, especially in like the communities where we're going to be leaving. But I think we forget to kind of consider what effect that has on society. It kind of just gets ingrained in our brain. So I want to talk a little bit about how, in present society, how one goes from the bottom to the top. What is the objective in this sort of society, in this paradigm? What is the objective? If you're on the bottom here, what's your objective? To get more money. So you just want to keep accumulating wealth, and that sort of thing. And so we have this idea where people at the bottom, they see money as the answer. And the accumulation of wealth, they think, okay, money is the best thing. So all these people here at the bottom, there's a limited amount of money, and all these people here at the bottom are fighting to get to the top. And there's a lot of like individual competition. People, if they get something, they want to keep it to themselves. They don't want to, it's not as much about sharing what they have, it's not about cooperating or anything like that. So that's basically the framework that we're trying to, as DIs, trying to do development, trying to do work with communities, trying to work with these people that are on the bottom for whatever reason. What we're trying to do is kind of reverse some of those processes that are taking place to kind of help the people at the bottom develop themselves. So my first question for you, which is a little bit more complicated now, is I want to ask you guys where you see yourself within this framework of society. Whether you can identify with it, whether you don't identify with it, and then how does this framework in society affect you personally? Do you even see yourself as fitting in within that framework? So what I was thinking, you guys could talk amongst yourselves for a few minutes, and then we can open it up. I'll start with talking a little bit, kind of how I identify with that, talking about where I fit in with this, and then I'd like to open it up to each of you, or if anyone wants to say, kind of share their thoughts and feelings about it, we can move on from there. So if you want to take a few minutes and talk amongst yourselves, you can, and then we'll bring it back and we can. Does everyone understand? I'm getting a lot of blank stares, so I don't know if everyone is following what I'm asking.
Do you mean in terms of where we live before, or where we think that we'll fit in when we get to Africa?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I think the question is in a lot of different senses. I think maybe from where you live or where you're going to live or those sorts of things. But I think more specifically, I want to about the accumulation of wealth and how getting money is the answer. And kind of how this framework. I'm not doing a very good job explaining myself. So these people on the bottom are going to want to rise up to the top to get money. And so I kind of feel like development is not necessarily just like going up the pyramid and getting more money. I think it can be a little bit more complicated than that. So basically what I'm asking is do you identify with the process of money bringing development? Is that a little bit more clear? Yeah? Kind of? Okay. Do you understand what I'm kind of asking?
So money brings development, you said?
Yeah, so in this kind of, if this is society, and the majority of people here at the bottom are poor, what they kind of want in their life is to go up and to make more money. Right, so as DIs who are trying to go into Africa and trying to help these people develop, do you think the best way to go up is money, basically? Does that make a little more sense?
Yeah, I can understand.
Okay. Where's the marker? So for a person to go from here to here, they need more money, yeah? Okay. And to go from here to here, you need more money. And from here to the top, you need even more money. So basically the main goal is to make as much money as you can. Okay? And is development and necessarily connected with money?
So what you want to know is just if development is really connected to the money, or if it's just about money. I mean.
Right, or if there should be another goal here. And if there should be another goal besides money, what do you think that goal should be?
Yeah, what you're saying is like the people turn themselves like really selfish. They don't care about the other. If you were like a community and we had to work together to get money, or ourselves work by ourselves to get more money than the rest, it's pretty much that people turn themselves selfish. They don't want to work together anymore. They just want to work themselves, and right? Or pretty much it, or I'm lost it.
No, you're doing very well.
Yeah. So they go together, and they go along, and they seek for the money alone, and just the money. They don't care about our development as a group.
Yeah, right. Selfish.
Put selfish up there. Yeah, so basically, you're kind of right on target. So maybe if you talk in your small groups, come up with maybe different things that might describe this system that makes development difficult. Tough question? If not, I'll help you guys. I'll help you out in a minute or two. I don't know if you completely understand. I don't know if I'm doing the greatest job explaining it more than that.
You don't like the sunlight? Nobody
Of course.
likes the heat.
Yeah, I
You
think so.
agree that words
I think what?
The mind.
I think now African poverty is